has absolutely smashed that.
Whoa, that's scary.
Nicely done.
Hi, I'm Chris Harris and I'm a lucky guy. I've been able to play cricket all over the world.
Oh, bowled him. He's got 2 in and over now.
I want to share my passion for the game with you, and we've called on some of our top international stars to help me out. Now, before we pick up a bat or a ball, I think there are some ideas we need to talk about on using the body to hit the ball harder and bowl with power. Let's talk to New Zealand Cricket Technical Advisor Ashley Ross. G'day Ash, how you going?
Good, Harry, how's things?
Good, thanks, nice to see you.
Absolutely.
Now, who's this you've got with you?
This is Luke. Luke's the assistant to the technical advisor.
G'day Luke, I'm Chris.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Now tell us Ash, what does a technical advisor actually do?
What I'm looking to do is shape and reshape the body so we can put it in a position where it can be most efficient. Let me show you.
Excellent.
Okay, so what we want you to do, Harry, is we're going to make sure that your back's right against the back of the chair, feet flat on the floor. Now your task is to stand up.
Just stand straight?
Yeah, you're supposed to stand up, Harry. Okay, so what we've done is we've shaped your body to a position where it can't do the task.
Physically can't.
What I want you to do now is I want you to do whatever you have to do to stand up. Terrific. What you've done is you've reshaped your body to make it more efficient. You've been able to complete the task.
Now you've shown us how the body helps us to stand up. How does the body help us in cricket?
Well, the body's the thing that does bowl the ball or swings the bat. So what part of the body do you use to...
Well, I'll use my hands.
Of course, they transfer the power, but what we're really looking for is the big body parts to generate the power.
That has gone a long way.
Okay, so what we have here is we have a netball and we have a medicine ball.
Okay.
Now, if I drop both of them on your foot, then we'll see which one has the biggest impact.
Okay. Not too bad. Oh, that bigger one, that hurt a lot more.
Well, what we've shown there is that something that's got that kind of mass is going to make the biggest impact.
Oh, okay.
And Luke, tell me, where's the big parts of Harry's body?
The legs, the chest, and his arms.
That's right. Is there anything in the head?
With Harry.
Good point.
Oh, easy, fellas. But what does this mean to the game?
Well, the important thing is that all the power is generated from the big body parts. So that's the chest and the trunk and the hips.
Okay, so it's like when you're batting, you get that big shoulder dip. And you get most of your power from there.
Absolutely.
And with the bowling, how you get the front arm, which triggers in here, and it triggers the trunk.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. There's no better feeling than hitting the ball to the fence or over the fence. And you can never hit the ball over the fence often enough. It's a great feeling. Now, who better to show and tell us about timing than the New Zealand captain, Stephen Fleming.
And that is a beautiful shot.
That's a great shot.
Choosing a bat can be quite scientific. There are a number of things to look for in a bat, but I think the two most important things are the size of the bat and the weight of the bat. If you get a bat that's too big for you, it can become clumsy, or if you bat for a long time with a small bat, you may get a sore back. So the other two key things to look for, and also how a bat feels in your hands.
A suitable weight for your build and strength level. A nice balance with an even weight distribution. An appropriate length. It should reach the bottom of your hip pocket when you stand full height. A reputable brand name.
You work out a guard during practice. You tend to look at where you want to stand in front of the wickets, where you play your best shots, and where the bowler's bowling from. All three key things as to where you're going to stand. It may change during an innings, but traditionally you'll stand on middle stump and work from there.
G'day, Flem.
G'day, Harry.
Now you're going to run us through the basics.
Yeah, here's a couple of things to get us underway. The first one is how to hold the bat, the grip.
Very important.
Simple exercise, place the bat in front of you, and with the fleshy part of your hands between the thumb and the forefinger, simply bend down and pick the bat up.
I was always taught to pick it up like an axe, pretty similar. And there's an easy way to check if you've got it right. You just turn the bat round and you see both your V's pointing down the back of the bat.
The second thing to look at is how you're going to stand. If you want to bat for a long time, you've got to be comfortable in your batting stance. The position you should be in is a nice athletic position, a comfortable position, with your feet shoulder width apart, your head is over your feet, and the bat hangs loosely back behind the body.
That looks pretty comfortable. You look like you're setting yourself up for a pretty big one.
Well, that's right. You want to bat for a long time, so you want to be as comfortable as possible.
So that's very important, kids. You want to set yourself up in a comfortable position because you're going to bat for a long time.
In a normal stance, the bat rests lightly on the ground behind the back foot. As the bowler runs in, the bat is raised off the ground to start the rhythm of the stroke.
It's important in your stance that your head is facing straight down the wicket and that your eyes are level, giving you the best opportunity to watch the ball.
Now that we've run through the basics, where do you stand?
The main reason you take a guard when you're batting is so you know and have an awareness of where the wickets are. So to do that, you'll take, say, a centre wicket stance, a leg stump stance, and very rarely an off stump stance.
What's your favourite?
I actually take a stance between the middle wicket and the leg stump wicket.
And what's that called?
That's called two legs.
Brilliant. Or middle and leg.
So if we take that now, you get up in your athletic position, the bat hangs loosely, you're ready to go.
And you're going to run through the basics of the backlift now.
The backlift is very important, probably one of the most important aspects of the game. It works in conjunction with your feet. So if you're moving into a front foot shot, the bat will lift. The key thing about this is the timing of when you lift the bat. We'll look at that again, Harry. The bat will lift when my foot goes forward.
That's a really good point, because I was always believed that if I wasn't hitting the ball very well, it's because I wasn't picking the bat up high enough, but it's because I was picking it up at the wrong time.
Timing is crucial. You talk about timing the ball, but it's the timing that goes before the shot that is crucial to the execution. So we'll look at that again. Front foot forward, bat goes up. Likewise with a back foot shot, same result. The key thing is getting the timing right, so you're preparing your upper body to play the shot. The shape of your shoulders is preparing you for the power to execute the horizontal bat shot. Back, the bat goes up.
So as you move, the bat goes up.
As you move, the bat goes up.
Great, because it helps you balance too, doesn't it?
That's right.
Excellent. Now it's also pretty important, I guess, to keep your backlift straight, because I remember growing up when I was a little bit younger and I used to have my backlift way up to like gully, and that obviously makes it very difficult to hit the ball, obviously back where you want to.
Well, it does. You want everything in a straight line. Pays to check that the elbow is in direct line with the bat. Note that the fingers are just hanging on the bottom hand, but don't be concerned because the power will come from the trunk and the shoulders. And if you keep everything simple, think about the principles of your stance, your head is nice and straight, you want the bat moving in the same straight line. So if you pick your bat up, move your foot forward, you get into that position. You have a lot of anxiety when the bowler's coming in. You don't want to get out first ball, you don't want to get zero, so you want to score a run. But firstly, you must keep your wicket intact, and that must be your key thought. You must focus on that delivery and then think about scoring runs.
So here you are, in your stance, bat at the ready, and the bowler's about to deliver the ball. What are your options? A defensive shot, played to a ball of good length or slightly shorter. It would hit the stumps if not played. A defensive shot is always played with a vertical bat and played off the front foot to deliveries that are fuller and off the back foot to deliveries that are shorter and bounce higher. An attacking horizontal bat shot, such as the pull or cut shot, is played to shorter deliveries that tend to bounce above stump height. They require the ball to be hit square of the wicket with the bat in a horizontal position. An attacking vertical bat shot is commonly known as the drive. This shot can be played off the front foot to full deliveries on or around half volley or full toss length, and off the back foot to shorter, high bouncing deliveries. These shots require the ball to be hit straighter down the ground with the bat in a vertical position.
One of the best ways of practicing this shot is without a ball. It's visualising yourself playing the shot and feeling the shape of the shot that you have to play. Playing yourself in comes from obviously spending time at the wicket, so you must do the little things. You must survive each ball and work from there. Once you survived an over, look forward to the next over. And then as that goes on, look forward to the next 10 minutes, the next hour, hopefully the next 2 hours, and as long as you can go. But use short triggers, use short goals, and that'll help you bat for a longer period of time.
We obviously need some cricket balls. If you haven't got a helmet, it might pay to start with tennis balls. Let's get into it. Shot.
Let's go through a checklist of the grip, the stance, and the backlift. With me, I have Chris. Let's have a look at his stance and grip. Okay, as you can see, Chris has the 2 V's down the back of the bat that we talked about. The grip is nice and loose, and it's pretty relaxed. That looks good. Now we look at Chris's stance. The feet are shoulder width apart. He's in a nice athletic type stance, looking pretty relaxed. That's pretty good. When you're picking up the bat, you also want to pick up your foot, or you want to use your foot as a guideline. Okay, so as you can see, Chris is now using his front foot and the bat at the same time. Once more, Chris. Yeah, that looks very good. And don't be concerned about the bottom hand. It's quite loosely on the bat. Remember, the power comes from the shoulders and from the trunk. Now, if we're going to play a back foot shot, we'll just look at Chris's stance again. Onto the back foot. Yep, so exactly the same principle. When this back foot moves, the bat comes up.
Another player who has a very good batting setup is Mathew Sinclair, who made such an exciting impact on his Test debut.
Oh, there are plenty of shortcuts that you can take out there, but they'll at some stage lead to your downfall. And the more you take, the later on in your career or during your career, the more mistakes you'll make. So the more thorough you are in your planning, mental and physical, the less problems you'll have. Shortcuts can be taken, but not beneficial.
My father Lance played for New Zealand, and so there was always bats and balls and whatnot lying around at home, and so I was also lucky enough to go to fielding practice with the New Zealand team, and it was always been in my blood really. So you know, I started very, very young.
I just followed my my older brother into it. He played a lot when he was young, and always liked going and watching his games and playing with him in the backyard. So that's how it all started for me.
And I started playing cricket when I was 5, and that's thanks to my grandfather making me a wooden bat from the back of the shed. So, and it just built on from there.
My mum played softball and my nana played basketball, and my dad was a farmer, but no background on sport.
I did a lot of bowling. I think it is the story of a lot of younger brothers, and I bowled to them for a lot, and occasionally I got a bat.
I believe Daniel Vittori did a lot of fielding, but I don't know how he got up to bowling so early. Unfortunately, when I came out, Ben and Tim, being 2 older brothers, I guess, one would bat, one would bowl, and I probably fielded for the first 7 years of my life.
Well, I played when I was at primary school, just with some of the boys who I was at school with, and one of the ladies who used to play for New Zealand, who lived in my area, she sent a notice round to the school seeing if any girls wanted to play club cricket, and that's how I got into it. When
I was that young, all I wanted to be was the batsman, bowler, wicketkeeper, fielders and umpire, so I pretty much dominated the game.
Okay, try and swing the bat.
It's pretty tough because it's pretty unstable up here.
Try this, Eric.
Cool, okay. Yeah, that feels much better. I've got a lot more power and I can swing the full circle.
Yep, you've got great stability there. Even after you've swung the bat, you've got great stability. And that's allowed all the power in the big body parts to transfer to the hands and then the bat.
Yeah, definitely lots of power there. It feels great. We all love to play those horizontal bat shots, the cut shot, the pull shot, and smash those fast bowlers to the boundary. But the reality is, 90% of the time, we're going to have to play vertical bat shots, the front foot, the back foot drives, the defensive shots. And who better to show us than New Zealand's leading run scorer in women's cricket, Debbie Hockley.
When I'm walking out to bat, I'm thinking about the job in hand, probably talking to my fellow opening batsmen about exactly what we need to do in those first few overs. If it's a bowler that I've played against before, I'm thinking about where she's likely to bowl to me and what sorts of shots I need to play, what shots I don't need to play, and really just having a lot of positive thoughts about the job in hand, which is mostly to see off the new ball, but also to try and score a lot of runs in those first 15 overs.
G'day, Debs.
Hi, Harry. How are you?
It's great to have you here.
Thanks very much.
Right, let's demonstrate the front foot drive. Well, there was a lot of power in that shot.
Yeah, that came from the dip of my shoulders and from the direction.
And you've also kept your balance, which is really important.
Yeah, I think keeping a stable base is really a key to getting lots of power in your shot.
Great shot. Well, that covers the front foot. Let's have a look at the back foot drive.
Yeah, exactly the same as the front foot, except obviously I'm going to be stepping back. So my bat and my back foot come back at the same time.
And you've got that great shoulder dip rotation
That's
going
right,
in.
so just the same as the front foot drive, because that's where I get all my power from, and then stepping back and following through.
Well, you can feel the whoosh of the bat as it goes past.
Yeah,
There's a lot of power there.
There is, yeah, so hopefully it's gone to the boundary.
I'm sure it has.
Well, to keep your concentration once you've got to, say, 20 or 30 runs, I think it's really important to realise that since you've got that far, really it's up to you and for your team to really carry on and try and get a big score. So it's important that, say, between overs or even between balls, that you just switch off so that you're not actually trying to focus and concentrate for the whole time, because basically you can't. It's far too tiring. So what I tend to do is watch the ball, play the shot, and then just relax a little bit and wait until the bowler's coming in, getting myself set.
What are the important factors about the forward defence?
Well, the most important thing is that if the ball isn't going to hit the stumps, I'm going to leave the ball, because that's a defence in itself. I guess the shots I am going to play are forward defence if the ball's probably on a good length, but if it is in fact going to hit the stumps.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I mean, if the ball's not going to hit the stumps, there's no need to play it if you're defending, is there?
No, that's right, because you probably give yourself more of a chance of getting out, say, caught behind or something like that.
Okay, well, let's take for granted that it's a good ball and it's going to hit your stumps.
Yep.
What are you looking to do from a forward defensive point of view?
Well, I'm looking to set it up in exactly the same way as if I was going to play a drive, except what I'm going to do is just basically let the ball hit the bat and aim to hit it straight back to the bowler.
Well, from here it doesn't look like there's any way through there.
Yeah, I hope not.
I always found the back foot drive a tough shot to play. Normally when I'm on the back foot I'm defending. How do you defend on the back foot?
I step my right foot back in line with the off stump here.
Why does it go to off stump?
Well, just so that I know that anything that's not coming directly at me I can leave as a defensive shot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And anything that is coming towards me, I just play with a vertical bat and have it stationary and let the ball hit the bat.
Great, so if the ball's outside your eyes you leave it, and if it's in line with your eyes basically you play it.
Exactly.
Excellent.
With me is Alex, and Alex is going to demonstrate for us some of those vertical bat shots that we've been seeing earlier with Harry. So Alex, if you want to just take up your stance and then just swing the bat through just as you're standing there. That's the way, swing right through. And we can see with Alex that she's got really good shoulder dip on her front shoulder, which is really preparing her shoulders well for lots of power into her shot. That's great, Alex. Keep it going. Swing right through. A few more. Excellent. Okay, that's great, Alex. Thanks. Right, so the next one we'll go on to is where you stand in your normal stance and you're going to take a step forward and play the shot. Okay. Excellent. So what we're looking for is that the bat's coming up at the same time she's taking a step forward, and then she's playing right through the shot, and she's keeping her feet really nice and stable after she's played the shot. Right through, really swing those arms right through, and of course we've got the really good shoulder dip as well. One more. Okay. Okay, Alex, well, we'll have a look at you doing some hits, starting from this position here where your foot's already in that position forward and your bat's already up, so we're making it a little bit easier for a start. Excellent. So we're just looking to swing right through. She's got a really good shoulder dip as well. And she's got a really nice stable base down here, so not much is moving. And she's getting a really good follow through with that rotation of her shoulders to get good power into the shot. Okay, Alex, now we'll take it on to the next step and we'll get Alex to stand in her stance. And this progression is where Alex is going to take a step forward, and the main points are that as her bat comes back, she takes the step forward and then plays the shot. So Alex, let's have a go. Excellent. Just get rid of that ball. So the main factors are that she's got really good shoulder dip like she was doing before. She's got a really stable base with her feet after she's played the shot. And she's got the really good swing through from that initial shoulder dip.
Running between the wickets is obviously vital because you've hit a good shot, you want to maximise the amount of runs you get for it. Running in straight lines becomes a very important thing, a simple thing, but you'd be surprised how many people don't run in a straight line when running between the wickets.
I think when you're running between the wickets, there's a couple of key points. One is the role that the non-striker plays in backing up at the non-striker's end. You've got to be on the move just as the ball's being bowled by the bowler, so that if the batsman down the other end calls you for a quick run, that you're already on the move. If you're just standing there watching, you've got a really good chance of getting run out. And I think that when you're running between the wickets, you've got to run really hard, say for the first run, if there might be 2 or 3, and you've just got to really see if you can anticipate that there might be 2 or 3, so that you're not standing down the other end humming and hurrying deciding. So a lot of anticipation is required.
Feet should be parallel and shoulder width apart. Your head and front shoulder should be facing towards the bowler. Keep your head still and your eyes level. Your initial step must be in conjunction with your back lift. As your foot moves, the bat lifts. An attacking shot. Hit square of the wicket. Played to short pitched balls. Shots played in front of the wicket can be attacking or defensive. Played to both pace and spin. Normally hit in a V between cover and mid-on.
Take a seat.
I hope I don't have to stand up again.
No, we're just going to spin you in the chair this time. We'll see how quickly we can make you spin. Start off with your arms and your legs out wide. And then when I say, bring them in close.
Oh, I don't like the sound of this.
Arms in. Out.
Whoa! You go a lot faster when you pull your arms and legs in.
So what does that remind you about our game?
Well, I think when I bat, you sort of bring your back lift in nice and tight and close to your body. And when you bowl, I guess all the bowlers, the fast bowlers and the spinners, you bring your hands in nice and close and so you've got small circles.
That's right, because the smaller the circle, everything spins quicker. So the batter can spin the bat quicker, the bowler can get rid of the ball quicker. Anything in preparation, keep it nice and close. So tell me, Harry, which of these knots is moving the quickest, the red one or the blue?
It was definitely the blue.
That's right, because there's more speed at the end of the rope.
Is that like why Kenzie and Dan hold the ball right on the end of their fingers when they're bowling?
That's right, because all the power and all the speed is at the end.
And it's like batting at the end of a one-day game, and when you're trying to whack the ball to the boundary, and all the power's now near the end of the bat.
Yep, that's where all the speed is.
Okay, is there anything else I need to know?
Well, the best way to develop power is to make sure everything goes in a straight line.
What do you mean by that? I don't understand.
Well, let's look at an archer perhaps. They stand there, and all their power is in a straight line. They're pulling the bow back, all ready to go.
Okay, so like your elbow and your front arm and your hips, they're all pointing in the same direction, all in a straight line.
That's right, everything's ready to go in a straight line, and that's the best way to use your power.
Wicket keeping, you're always in the action. Every ball could come to you. The fielders are throwing it at your feet, over your head, making you dive round. You're running to the stump, back from the stump. You're bending down. It must be tiring. And one lapse of concentration, and it's 4 byes or it's a drop catch. Adam Parore, why do you do it?
Well, put it like that, Harry, I'm not sure why, but I think that point you made about always being in the action's the key point to take out of it.
What a catch. A wonderful delivery from Cairns. Well, I'm not sure if I've ever seen a better catch by a wicketkeeper. Adam Parore started off down the leg side. Ramprakash has gone for a duck.
Yeah, it is possible for a wicketkeeper to be an extra set of eyes, if you like, or an advisor to the captain, and that's an important part of the role as well. It's something that we refer to as being part of the out cricket of being a wicketkeeper. And that's things like noticing what the pitch is doing, where batsmen are playing to their particular strengths, field placings, those sort of things. So anything like that you can pick up and pass on to your captain, or your bowler for that matter, is going to be invaluable to your side.
Let's run through the basics. Perhaps we can start with the stance.
Yeah, okay. The stance is one of the fundamentals, really, and whether you're standing up or standing back, the stance is pretty much the same. I tend to take up a position on or outside off stump, just where I can get a good view of the ball as it comes down the wicket. Feet about shoulder width apart or so, and then you just crouch down. Now, how you crouch is entirely up to you, really. Guys crouch all different ways. My stance basically looks something like that. head nice and level, hands open to receive the ball, and whether I'm standing up to the stumps like this or standing back to one of the quicker bowlers, that's pretty much the same. The key point is just to be comfortable, really.
Okay, and your weight's on the balls of your feet as well?
Weight on the balls of your feet, head nice and still so you can gauge the distance and speed of the ball, and you should be in business.
Because you find some people tend to sit back on their heels, and that's why they sort of struggle to move, a lot faster, I guess, or as fast.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you got your weight up on the balls of your feet. If you notice me here, I'm quite comfortable. I can sit down here and talk to you about technique and what have you. I've got my head pretty much in line, my hands are open, and I'm ready to go. And you'll notice that, I can move around a little bit if I need to. So I'm in quite a good, strong position there. And as you said, I'm not leaning back, so my weight's ready. I can move quickly if I need to react. I think the most important thing to remember about standing up is to actually watch the ball all the way past the bat and into your gloves. It's very easy to be distracted by flashing bats and balls that are bouncing and turning. The key point is to maintain your composure and just watch the ball all the way past the bat.
Brent Bowden's given him out.
Parore, yes, that's well out, clearly out. Well taken by the New Zealand wicket-keeper.
When you're standing back, the key to working out where you should and shouldn't be standing is ideally you want to take the ball at about waist height. And if you're taking the ball pretty much around about your waist, perhaps a little bit below it, then you're going to be more or less in the right spot. It's not always that easy because wickets are variable, but a little bit of trial and error should get you there in the end.
Parore's got him, first ball. Nash is on a hat-trick. A beautiful swinging delivery. Found the outside edge and Parore's taken a blinder.
Well, that covers the basics of the stance. Let's move into the glove work.
Yeah, the catching technique is pretty much exactly the same whether you're a wicketkeeper or a fielder. And the key points to note are to overlap your fingers, hands nice and soft, fingers pointing down at the ground. And then another point which is important, particularly for a wicketkeeper, is something that we call the length of the catch, which refers to whether or not you actually give with the ball and suck it into the body as it comes. The longer the length of the catch, the better the rhythm, and the less damage you'll do to your hand. So that's quite an important point.
Okay, let's just have a look at that, shall we?
Okay, well basically it's looking at taking the ball there, giving all the way back, and take it back to the stumps. You'll notice that the length of the catch there is about there. I started there. By the time I actually taken the ball, it's back here.
Nice. And you've got quite a big surface area there too as well, haven't you?
Yeah, you want to keep your hands open, obviously, for as long as you possibly can, really.
Yep.
That gives you a bigger target. I mean, look at the size of that for a target.
To still keep it down. He's got the edge this time. Venkat confirms it. Mark Wall's gone. Certainly bounced. Gee, that was a good catch. And here we are. Here's Vittori. And a good catch there from Parore. Riding with that.
Another really important factor, footwork.
Yeah, right. Now, footwork, basically what we've got here, we've got the stumps, and I'll assume that we're going to be standing up to a spin bowler or a slow bowler, but the technique is exactly the same whether you're standing back as well.
Okay.
What we're trying to do is get ourselves in a position where we can take balls that are wide of our body without having to sort of dive and fly all around the place. And what we do is we just have a little shuffle technique that basically looks something like that. So you just shuffle along.
So it's a bit like side skips, isn't it?
Yeah, just little side skips. And they're pretty easy to practice, and it's a pretty simple sort of skill to learn.
Okay, cool.
Basically, the technique's the same whether you're standing up to the stumps or standing back. The thing to remember when you're standing up here at the stumps to a spinner like Daniel Vittori or to a medium pacer like yourself is that you've got to be able to reach the stumps at all times.
Excellent, and thanks for calling me a medium pacer. Watching from the field, quite often you get scared watching the keepers because sometimes they try and ride up with the catch and you think, when is a good point to go into the reverse cup?
Okay, now the other option in terms of catching is something that we call a reverse cup, and we use that when we get balls at that awkward height up here, where you sort of be a little bit cramped and a bit squashed and you can't really catch it. Sort of tended to find that rather than sort of trying to catch the ball like this, where you notice that your elbows are in the way and your hands are very hard, so your length of catch is very short, we go to a situation there where we just take the ball in, and again you can see how I line the ball up there and I catch the ball there, so I've got a nice length of catch on my catching there as well.
Just got the edge and a good catch. I agree, it's just a wee bit fuller, drawing him forward, and the angle, he wants to protect it, and it's going down. Parore, we said, stands deep, but it's carried, genuine edge off a defensive bat.
There's a few different techniques you can use. I guess the key point to note with the diving is if you can, use two hands, not one.
Yep.
So you try to dive and grab it with two hands. If you can't quite reach it that way, then maybe you just have to stretch out a little bit, and that's when the one-handed dives come in. Probably the key thing to note when you're diving and catching it one-handed is that it's very difficult to do for a start, and what happens you tend to find is that as you land on the ground, you've been flying through the air and you hit the ground, you land on your elbow, the ball pops out and all your good work's been undone. So you need to find a way to sort of protect that elbow and cushion the ball as you hit the ground. The way I do it is I just sort of tend to roll a little bit and land on my shoulder and try to roll through the catch as opposed to landing heavily on the ground. Okay, with me here is Cameron, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look at his stance and go over his glove work. Let's get you in your stance there, Cameron, and see how we get on. Right, now the feet are good. The feet are about shoulder width apart as we discussed before. Head nice and balanced. He's up on the balls of his feet, so he's nicely balanced. Gloves are open, he's ready to go. Now you'll notice it's pretty hard to push him over from this position here. He's in a nice stable position and he's ready to react if he needs to. Right, what we'll do is we'll throw some balls at you, Cameron. Have a look at your catching. Good, and take it back to the stumps. Easy boy. Nice. Keep working on that length of catch. You want that nice and long. Watch the ball all the way into your hands. Nice boy. We'll have a look down the leg side, see how we get on down there. Good. Okay, Cameron, we're moving on to diving now, and what was done was we put a mat down here so that Cameron won't hurt himself when he's diving. The technique is to actually dive and then to actually turn and twist and try and keep your elbow off the ground so you roll onto your shoulders. So what I'll get you to do is I'll get you to run through a few of those without the ball, and then I'll introduce the ball and make it a little bit more complicated for you. How's that? Right. Really stretch out on them and emphasise it. That's it. Boy. Good. Keep going, right over the mat. That's it. Nice. Standing up to the medium pacer is probably the hardest part of the game, in that your reaction time is almost nil. And you tend to find that in that situation, the subtle differences in terms of deliveries and subtle differences in bounce can be very, very challenging and quite difficult.
Big shout here. He's given in. The bowling changes worked. Very, very fine catch from Adam Parore. It was quite wide.
Do you notice how long Adam stays down? His gloves come up with the ball. This is a key point of wicket-keeping.
Anything that goes down that channel, if you like, between myself as the wicketkeeper and first slip is the wicketkeeper's catch. And the key to that is going back to your initial position. If you can be as wide as possible initially, you'll close that gap down as much as possible with your momentum, and that'll give you the best chance of grabbing all those tricky ones that go through there. It tends to fall to the wicketkeeper to provide the energy for the side and to maintain the momentum, and you'll notice various wicketkeepers doing this in different ways. Some are very chatty and chirpy behind the stumps. Others are very energetic in terms of running around, gathering deliveries from the outfield. Some run between overs. Others you'll see are always running over the captain to have a word there, or popping over to see one of their short fielders. And those are the sort of things that are noticeable in terms of trying to keep the energy of the side going and keep things happening out there in the middle.
You must have clear vision of the bowler and the ball. Keeping your weight on the balls of your feet will keep you well balanced and able to move quickly in any direction. You should have soft hands and give with the ball when catching. Strive for a nice long length of catch. The gloves should rise with the ball.
The history of the game I think is very important. I'm learning more about that. The camaraderie you develop, it's a very unique game. And also it tests you, it challenges you in ways that will set you up for life after cricket, I'm hoping.
I'm probably getting that person out who is a great player, and you know you've tricked them or fooled them into playing a false shot, and you know your plan's worked, and you've done something great for the team.
I mean, I have a great passion for cricket. I think it's the best game in the world. You know, I think that it provides so many great opportunities for me. It's my employment, so I'm lucky that I can get to do what I love as a job, and so I don't see it as a job. And I see it as something that I can express myself at, and I'm lucky enough to have a talent. So amongst all these things, I've also met some really great people. And so for me, cricket has been more than a game. It's been a real life experience, and I'm very thankful for it. Hopefully got a few more years left in me yet.
For me, enjoyment's always been a big thing. You know, I've loved it. I still do.
Obviously, I love to field. I just love being involved and being part of it. I love batting, I love bowling, I love fielding. And you know, normally most people don't like fielding, but I just see that as a huge part of the game, and I spend as much time on fielding as I do as of any other part of my game.
To be honest, if I wasn't enjoying my cricket, I wouldn't be playing it.
New Zealand cricket has a bright, positive future. It is well directed at the moment, and there's every opportunity for any young player, if they have the desire, the commitment and the talent to play the game. The future is also very bright for you.
So there we have it. Cricket is a game of many skills. You never stop learning, and that's why I love it. I believe the more skills you have, the more enjoyment you will have. And don't be discouraged if it doesn't work the first time. Don't give up and keep trying. I've had many years of enjoyment playing this great game. Thanks for watching. Practice hard, just go out and enjoy it. Alright! Brilliant, well done. Good stuff, high five. Somebody give me a high five for like really stupid. Yeah.
Okay, the key thing with it, and takes a little bit of training,
And Sir Richard Hadley was a great exponent of the sidearm bowling. And yeah, okay. And Sir Richard Hadley was a great exponent of
Side-on bowling.
It's not sidearm bowling.
Side-on bowling.
And Sir Richard Hadley was a great exponent of the sidearm bowling. So yeah, can't do it.
Side-on bowling. If the ball isn't actually going to hit the stumps, well then I'm probably going to leave it.
Well, that's a good point, isn't it? Because if you're leaving the ball, there's very, obviously not very much, or something like that.
That's exactly right, you're on the right line, yep. This could be a whole new video. Yeah. In fact, people might buy more copies of this one.
If you're not playing it, you can't get out. But then I was thinking, well, if one might come back and he might get out. You said I couldn't get out on the video.
Chest, it's okay.
I knew I'd do one.
That's why we wear a helmet.